So I recently came across an interview with Elon Musk. It was a small clip, and I was very curious about what Elon said and kind of um, drawn to explore this and make this video after listening to that. So the interviewer asked Elon, and I don't know how recent or in the past this was, but the interviewer asked Elon, "Hey, you are the kind of the richest guy in the world, billions and billions of dollars worth, and many people dream or can't even imagine, fathom having that much money. Why do you work? Like, what's that? What's that about? Why are you working still?" And Elon pauses for a moment, and of course, I'm going to paraphrase what he says, but basically, he said something around when he was young, he wanted to figure out, what am I here for? What is the meaning of my life? And he went on a little quest. He apparently looked at the religious texts and couldn't find what he was looking for. He then switched to the philosophers and again kind of hit a dead end. Of course, fast forward, he went into business and things like this. And then he was like, it's got to be out there. So he then goes on to say in this video that humanity must become an interplanetary species in order to find out what is it, where are we, who are we, where are we part of this cosmos and the whole functioning of different things. And for me, when he said that, this theme from the X-Files, I don't know if you've watched the X-Files, it's kind of an oldish series, but Mulder and Scully, and it says, "The truth is out there." That's kind of like the tagline, "The truth is out there." And it also reminded me of, I visited a city some time ago, and we went to this old building, and there was a poster of basically cosmonaut who went up to space, and the poster says, in the language of that country, "I went to space and God was not there." And this is what makes me laugh, because nothing is further from the truth. And dear Elon, it's not out there. It's not out there. And the beautiful thing is that the journey to find meaning and purpose, right? What are all humans looking for essentially? We are going to this world with two major objectives, if you like, and from this stems everything else. One, we want to reduce the pain and suffering of our lives, and two, we want to find happiness and bliss, right? And this is what we translate as meaning and purpose, and things like this. And it's not out there. It is in one place that's been hiding and is hiding in plain sight. If you watch some of my videos, you know exactly where I'm going. That place is in here. That's the place where everything is discovered. This is where meaning, this is where purpose, this is where, what am I here for? Who am I? Those answers are found in the journey inward, not in the journey outward, right? And the beautiful thing is, like, I mean, kudos to Elon for pushing his teams on scientific developments, technological breakthroughs that have all come in this thirst to find meaning out there. We have reusable rockets, we have all this like battery powered, and I'm not going to go into the sustainability sides of things right now, but we have all this innovation that's come up because of this thirst, right? But the cool thing for you is that you don't need $1 billion. You don't need advanced technology. You don't need a PhD in rocket science to do this work. In my experience, there are literally 2 to 3 things that one requires. One, Space. You need space for this. 2, silence. And 3, a healthy dose of humility. Because you gotta discover a lot of things that you thought was one way are actually a very different way, and that takes a lot of humility. And probably, well, let me add one more thing: a lot of courage, right? It takes a lot of courage. It's very easy, as Eckhart Tolle says, it's very easy to blame the world around you. It's very easy to blame the environment around you, right? It's like it's such a bad day because the weather is like rainy, right? Or it's a great day because the sun is out. Carry your weather here. What would that look like, right? Irrespective of rain or sun. That is what self-realization, that is what finding purpose and meaning does for you, right? And all of the ancients discovered this truth, that it's in here, whether it is the Rishis, whether through the yogic practices, whether it is Ramana Maharishi, who spoke about who am I, this one-pointed thing that dissolves all else of who you are, whether it was Jesus who said, the Holy Spirit is within you, God is within you, I and the Father are one, you and God are one. So the beautiful thing about this is that this inward journey, it's the most democratizing path for anybody. You don't need to go to India. You don't need to, I don't know, find some special place. You can do it right here, right now, if you so decide, in your bedroom, on your couch, whatever it is, you can do it. You can take that journey. I'll talk a little bit more about how I lead people through this journey as well later on. But this brings me to a point to think, hey, you're probably asking, like I asked, how the heck did we get here, right? How did we get to this thing of that we're always looking externally? And, it's there from birth, I feel. We're conditioned to, we're seeking the approval of our parents. They have to tell us, is this right, is this wrong? Then we go to school, we allow our grades, or we're conditioned that our grades determine how our value, our worth, and take that into the corporate world or wherever you are. Your level, your designation, your promotion, your salary, your smart ideas that everybody said wow, wow, wow to. All of this external feeding, external measures that are put upon us, we are determining our lives and gauging the success, happiness, bliss of our lives based on that. And all the time inside, there is this nagging question like, well, this kind of feels off. Who am I really? And what I want to tell you is that as much as we search in the externals, we are never, ever going to find meaning and purpose. Never. It'll never fill you. This is timeless truths that I'm sharing here. I think Blaise Pascal is very famous. This French philosopher, I believe, who said something like, all of man's problems stem from his inability to sit quietly alone in a room. Or just to sit quietly alone. And Eckhart Tolle expounds this a little bit. He says, you are troubled, I am troubled. The person next to you is troubled. And all of these troubled beings can only produce one thing. What do you think you can produce? More trouble. And when all troubles come together, here comes trouble. I remember there was a colleague used to say that, here comes trouble. When all the troubles come together, what do you get? Chaos. You just need to lift up your head for a second and look at the world around us. Total chaos with all these troubled souls. Everyone's troubled, right? And everyone's looking in the wrong direction externally to try and solve the trouble. What if we all turned inward, right? And that's what I want to kind of like offer here, is to say that I firmly have faith that the more of humans that begin to start looking inward, this shift will begin to take place, right? I'll talk a little bit more on that later on. Now, there's also another piece that I want to talk about, which is around the AI piece here. So there's this whole talk about, is AI conscious? Could it become conscious? And all these kind of things. And yes, couldn't, I don't know. The jury's still out, right? But what I want to say is that there are people who I've met who say, hey, AI will take us closer to God. AI will help us realize ourselves, perhaps. However, here's what I want to kind of emphasize. You can take, it's an old saying, you can take the horse to the water, you cannot force it to drink, right? You can surround yourself with the most advanced AI, conscious technology, whatever you want to call it. That cannot bring self-realization to you. That cannot connect you with your soul. It cannot connect you with purpose and meaning. No way. Because that is a felt sense, right? It's just like someone who's eating a piece of cake is describing everything about the cake, the chocolate, the smoothness, they can even describe all of the neural things that are lighting up or whatever in their system, right? They can describe all of that, but you have not eaten the cake. Therefore, you do not understand what they are saying, right? Listen to all of these, and I've gone on this journey myself. So many of these guys that I listen to, you'll be blissed out. You'll be blissed out. I'm like, what the hell are these guys talking about? You'll be blissed out. Like, when you experience it, you will say the exact same words. I find myself saying the exact same words nowadays. Like, oh, there's so much peace. There's so much bliss. There's so much joy. It's, and Jesus says this beautiful thing. He says, a peace, he called it the peace that passes all understanding. The peace that passes all understanding. That sense of peace. Why does it pass all the understanding? You can't even explain it. You can't explain it. The only thing you can say is, try. You have to experience. You have to taste the cake yourself, dear friend. I can't taste it for you, right? So even though we have AI and it could be going conscious and could be like amazingly advanced, don't deceive yourself and kid yourself that AI, you can outsource this part of self-realization, of finding your purpose and meaning to AI. Not going to happen. Because the universe, you are a unique expression of the universe. And that unique expression is for you. That's mapped to you. So no matter, anyone can come and explain it to you, but you have to realize it yourself. That is the journey. That is the beauty. And that is the joy of doing it. Then you see yourself like really kind of emerge, right? So that's why I say that you cannot fake this. You cannot fake this as much as you want to try. And if someone is faking it, if you're well aligned and connected to source, you'll spot it like this. In fact, I would say even people who aren't connected to source will spot it like this. Why are we able to spot the fake gurus? Why are we able to spot these quote unquote God man or whatever, right? Or someone who's just spouting philosophies, but actually you have this felt sense because your vibrations pick up something that's not authentic, something that's manipulative, whatever it may be, right? Anyway, quite enough about that. But here's the coolest thing about the inner and outer cosmos, right? So Rumi says this beautiful line. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are an ocean. You are an ocean in a drop. Yeah, you're not the entire ocean. You're not a drop in the ocean. You're an ocean in a drop. This shows this beautiful paradox, yet mirror image, right? I think there was some time ago I watched a clip on, they'd taken zoomed in on one single cell. And you can see it's almost like a planet. It looks like a planet with all these crazy things going on, right? So there's universes inside us. And when you realize that, you realize your oneness with the cosmos, then what happens is, now that you begin to understand yourself, the truth of who you are, your comprehension and reflection of the outer cosmos becomes so much more stronger. One of the things I love is this thought about, have you ever tried to look at the moon in water that's choppy? You know, if you're like the evening at the beach or on a water body somewhere, and the water's like wavy, and you're trying to see the reflection of the moon, you can't see it. You'll see some lights, you'll see some squiggles in the water, basically. But when that water becomes still and you see the same moonlight, perfect reflection. It's almost like you don't need to look up at the moon. You can just look down at the water and you can see the moon. This is how, when you get to that stillness of soul, when you dive deep to your inside, you can reach that state. And I want to play with this here, where you can see the moon of soul, but you can also see the cosmos reflected in you, right? And from that place, you begin to recognize the peace. It's hard to explain, this peace that really passes all understanding. And what does that peace give you? It gives you a sense of contentment. And with that contentment comes calmness. Irrespective of the situation. Yes, some situations can get a bit edgy here and there, and we have our parts of our ego that are dancing around and all of that. But overarchingly, you still feel that sense of peace as you're walking through that situation. And with that calmness comes a quiet confidence. And with that quiet confidence comes decision making that is from a place of here, not here. Because here it goes too fast, and here it's overthinking, and here it's racing. But here it's slowing things down, and it brings things into perspectives. It allows broader understanding, more dynamism of all the working parts. You're able to see it much more clearly, and then you can make decisions. You begin to find equanimity and peace with not knowing. It's a funny and yet beautiful state to be in. I don't know, but I'm actually fine with not knowing. That's amazing. It's an amazing place to be. All of these things happen. And then your relationships, the way you show up in different spaces, the depth of your conversations, the richness of your conversations, the richness of your connections, you will find that you will begin to have soul-to-soul connections, not surface-level stuff, not topics that are not that interesting. You will go very quickly to the heart of things, and you'll find a soul-to-soul connections. And these are all the things that happen. Your life takes such a richness to it, right? Such a rich turn. And then what happens is that you begin to contribute. You begin like, I want to be of service. Not to get a reward, not to get someone else to pat you on the shoulder, nothing like this. It just wells up from inside you. And that is the place where I yearn that people on this planet would go to. Imagine if we could all reach that space and begin to serve each other from the fullness, art for art's sake. Sure, some of it may make money, some of it may not make money, but that doesn't become a factor at all. You may still continue to do your job, whatever it may be, to earn a living and however that goes. But your life is going to be so much richer, so much abundant. This is the abundance of life. This is the fullness of life. All happens when we take that inward journey, when we take that inward dive, when we look at the truth of who we are, when we access that truth of who we are. So soul purpose, soul level purpose may not be some dramatic, apparition that comes in front of you. It's more likely this feeling of just a coming home, Ah, yeah, that feeling of coming home. Um, yeah, what else? Probably let me conclude with this. And I feel that because you reach this place of service, you show up as less troubled. Your troubles begin, I'm not saying your troubles go away completely. Your troubles lose their grip on you. They begin to soften. They begin to kind of settle. They begin to not have that much of an impact on you. And from that space, your way of service, you show up less troubled. And when you show up less troubled, you're able to contribute to the chaos in a constructive manner. You bring wholesomeness, not unwholesomeness, into situations. And let's say 2 or 3 people begin to bring wholesomeness into situations. Whatever areas they begin to touch, the chaos begins to subside, right? Now, there's a completely different part of chaos being part of a beautiful Leela that God is playing at, and all of that. That's a separate piece. But I'm saying in overarchingly, the chaos begins to survive, and then imagine what world we could live in. And I am not talking about idealism here. I'm talking about very simple cause and consequence, very simple cause and effect. The trouble, the trouble, we are troubled, therefore we create trouble, therefore it leads to chaos, cause and effect. In like manner, going inside, understanding who we are brings calmness, which will birth calmness, which will reduce chaos. So just simple cause and effect. That's what I'm kind of offering. So you're not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And imagine if all these oceans of us come together, what a world we could make. Your soul is longing for you to dive deep and meet it. And stop looking outwards, turn inwards is my invitation to you. And for this, I have 2 offerings. One is the Introduction to Purpose Discovery, which I do again every month. There's an Introduction to Purpose Discovery. Links are in the video below. If you want to join, just click the link and join. It's free. Also, something that's moving through me that I'm offering, and I'll put a link to that as well, is a what I'm calling Soul Dawn. Dawn, like, dawn when the sun's coming out in the morning. Soul Dawn. Basically, explorations. We just meet together and we explore just a doorway to your inner cosmos, right? How can we begin to explore this inner cosmos? How can we get? So there would be things like, it would consist of some guided meditations. There would be maybe a little bit of teaching around what I understand and learned so far. And then just open dialogue, open discussions, bring your questions, bring your perspectives. Really to just bring a synergy among all these, this awakening that's happening for all of us, right? So this is what I would like to offer as well. This Soul Dawn series is going to be a monthly series, and it's going to be on a donation based, right? So it's not like free, but whatever you're able to donate. So I'll put those details out very shortly. Another thing before I forget to mention is there's a meditation that's connected with going inward called Neti Neti. It is a very ancient meditation, but basically it's about negating all the things, trying to find out who we are by first removing all the things that we're not, I'm not my profession, I'm not my salary, I'm not this house, I'm not this nationality, I'm not this race, I'm not this color, I'm not this gender. And we keep removing and removing and removing till we get to a point to sit with just vastness, right? And see what that does for you. So I'm going to create a separate meditation, guided meditation for this. Thank you for those who have viewed my other guided meditation. It seems to be like a lot of people resonate to it. Well, I've said quite a bit in this one. Don't look outwards, look inwards. Thank you. Be well. Namaste.